Sage looking good today with the 2-0 oversend to open things up, guys. Welcome back to WCS America Challenger League. I'm Axeltoss. I'm joined by Axslav. Watched a lot of good StarCraft 2, having fun. We're currently watching Group H. And next up is Fenix versus Oz.
That's right, and this is a matchup where I think a lot of people would favor Oz, but Fenix has some pretty crazy eccentric PvP builds. He's a very aggressive player. And you know, Oz is one of those guys who, late 2011, early 2012, this guy was an absolute beast. He revolutionized PvT in Linked Liberties, showing that you could do these Forge Cannon expansions in the matchup, a build that no one thought you could do against Terran. And then he kind of showed how to take a fast third against Zerg as well. He took down Stefano when nobody else could with these fast third PvZ builds. But over the last 6 months to a year, you know, he hasn't really shown that same scary form where he innovates a whole new build that then becomes a huge part of the metagame. And so, you know, this is an opportunity for Fenix to take down this guy.
Yep. Of course, it's just going to be a PvT matchup. Nice amount of variety in this group, of course, with 2 Protosses, a Zerg, and a Terran. So we're going to see a lot of matchups in play today. The bottom right-hand location of Belshir Vestige. I present to you the Red Terran player from Team Incredible Miracle. Hailing from Peru, he is Fenix. Of course, Fenix was invited to Premier League round of 32. Lost two matches in a row, 0-2 to Apocalypse and 1-2 to Minigun. And that dropped him to the Challenger League bracket stage where he defeated Bales 2-1 and then lost to Top 0-2 to bring him to this point. Of course, his opponent in the top left-hand location, representing Team Evil Geniuses and hailing from Korea, he is Oz. Oz was also in the Premier League round of 32, qualified through the Premier League qualifier, and lost 0-2 to Violet and 1-2 to State, and then went and lost 1-2 to Jim in the bracket stage. So he's currently 0-3 in matches so far in WCS America. We'll see if he can turn things around here.
That's a pretty big surprise, too. I mean, Oz is a guy, you know, he plays in the Pro League for the EGTL hybrid team. He's, like I was talking about earlier, he's an absolute monster in the early part of 2012. But so far in 2013 in this WCS America, he looked really good when he qualified for it. That was a very tough qualifier, and he made it through.
Oh, yeah.
But then in the Premier League, he just hasn't had that success. I mean, he lost to State in the round of 32 of the Premier League, and that's a matchup that really, I mean, State's one of the top American players, but for a Korean with his background to lose to one of the up-and-coming American players is something that really just says, you know, you got to get back on your game.
Yeah.
And then he lost to Jim, and Jim, of course, is a rising star in China. Yeah, so that's more understandable. But he's definitely shown some weakness, particularly in PvP, which to be fair, is at least over the last year or so been his kind of bane.
Sure.
So that's a little bit understandable in that case. Now he's at the PvT against Fenix, and let's see if he has the same dominance he used to in this matchup.
A lot of people would consider Oz the favorite here. You know, even though he hasn't won yet in WCS America. But again, it's one of those, you know, Korean versus, you know, South American. Fenix a very strong player, but again, he's having some trouble in WCS America too. So we'll have to see what happens here. You know, I wouldn't count either player out. Looking at the openings though, we're seeing a Reaper opening from Fenix, very standard play. Is he following it up with the Reactor?
Yes.
Or did he, okay, so he did get a Reactor, very standard, and then adding on a Command Center as well. Got to make sure you keep that little Reaper alive.
He's just trying to be annoying. If you can get a probe cure too, that's always really nice. Looks like he's going to get 1 probe kill, which is going to get out of there. And that's just a fact of the build Oz did where you get the Nexus before you get any units. The Reaper does get there right before the mothership completes, so often you can get 1 or 2 probe kills. But because the Nexus is so fast, it's not that big a deal to take that loss.
Keeping that Reaper alive or turning it back home. Behind this, the question is, does he go... does he add on some barracks? Does he go for a factory? It looks like a factory is his choice. Still no second gas, though, which is a little bit interesting. So he's not going to want to tech up too heavily after this expansion build. So, you know, again, very standard play. Might add on some barracks, might add on a couple engineering bays. But, you know, the factory means he might get a starport and try to go for a medevac, right? Where he tries to go for some sort of drop play off of 2 bases, try to catch his opponent off guard. But the position of the factory is to the north side of the map, or the north side of his base. Mothership Core is about to get some scouting done. You might end up seeing that.
Oh, if it sees that starport going down, it's going to know exactly the build Fenix is going for. Of course, this is he sees everything.
Yep.
This is one of the most common openings in TVP. I think it's overall the strongest opening. If you're going to pick one opening to do every game in this match, you should go for this one. It's very solid. It has no particular weaknesses, but being scouted does kind of take a little bit of its punch out, of course.
Yeah.
It's a Widow Mine drop opening, and if it's scouted, the odds of doing damage with the drop are much lower.
Absolutely, and a Robo immediately going down, very important. It's going to be a Blink here from Oz. Now, this is actually pretty cool. Seen a lot of Protoss players do this. Of course, Blink really helps you deal with the medevac shenanigans that have been happening from Terran players. Reaper, there's no way out of that situation. I'm sorry. He was forced. He had a decision. Either jump off the cliff or try to run away. And he tried to run away. But there are 3 stalkers there. But what do you think about Blink play, PVT? I kind of like it.
You know, it's interesting because it's definitely a commitment in a sense. It's not that he's cutting economy to get Blink. What he's doing is he's delaying his upgrades, and he's going to delay his power tech. If it's Templar, if it's Colossi, if it's Archons, he's delaying that key tech. So his drop defense is going to be amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And early on, he's going to have map control with Blink, but his mid-game composition is going to be weaker. It's going to be weaker as far as he won't have as many key power units, and he's not going to have those great upgrades as well. So if he can't either get a couple medevac kills or do something, he's going to be a little bit weaker in the mid-game. But against a player who loves drops like Fenix, against the opening he's scouted, it's a great build to do.
All right, we got the medevac jetting into the natural expansion and dropping one Widow Mine, dropping a second. Photon Overcharge immediately activated that one probe, resigning his life. Will plant himself on top of the Widow Mine and accept his fate. Another Widow Mine dropping down there, and the main base observers there. Goodbye, Widow Mine. So far, pretty good here for us.
That's right, but the medevac escapes, which is the most important thing. So, yes, he's going to lose 2 Widow Mines, but he got 1 probe, and he used the Photon Overcharge as well. So, not ideal for Fenix, but the most important unit in that attack is the medevac. And as long as you get away with the medevac, you're not going to fall behind. It's not like this is an all-in build by any means. It's a great way to open the game because you get 2 things. 1, you have the potential to do damage. 2, you have great tech, because you already have the fact you already have the starport. You can go straight to the medevacs into bio. And 3, what's actually very important, is you get a scouting information. His medevac flew over to Protoss base. It saw the Twilight Council researching Blink. It saw the number of gateways, so he knows what to expect.
Well, then his Marines shouldn't be out on the map here, but they're going to be running back as fast as possible. Didn't get the memo that Blink Stalkers were in play. Observer on the high ground there. Great Blink up there from Oz. Taking down 1 SCV. Going to start taking down Marines as well. And again, he sees everything that's happening. Additional barracks, the starport on the reactor, churning out some medevacs. He's just going to kite away here with those Stalkers. He can blink out whenever he wants and going to do just that. And again, Oz has that map control, at least until Stim gets out and some Marauders get a little bit annoying. But now going to blink straight into the natural expansion. Remember, his opponent's in the main trying to deal with those other Stalkers. But Oz is just everywhere in this game.
Great play by Oz. Oh, he's taking out the medevacs. Those are the most important units. Blink's on top of the army. A very bold Blink, but there's not much bio from Fenix here, and losing both medevacs.
Wow, every single medevac taken out there by Oz. Great move. Units lost should be interesting. 1875 to 625, 23 to 5. At this point in the game, is pretty drastic advantage here for Oz. Behind this, going into Colossi production, taking a 3rd base. Oz in complete control of this game.
What a dominant counterattack there by Oz. Only a single medevac now to heal this bio force. They do have Stim, so Oz does have to be a little bit careful. But his army composition is only Stalkers, so you can blink and run away fairly easily. Oh
yeah, Marines and Marauders coming forward trying to stem. I hope Fenix isn't having lag issues here, but looks like a countdown. Oz is in a great position right now. I think that's very clear.
You know, the one thing he has to watch out for is the fact that he's taking a 3rd very fast behind us. And Fenix is about to have +1 weapons. Oz still is not going to have a single upgrade done. And so, looks like the game's back. Fenix is okay here.
Okay.
If he wasn't able to kill those medevacs, and he wasn't able to kill a bunch of Marines and SCVs, he could have been weak to a counterattack by Fenix. But I think he's done enough damage that by the time Fenix can get about 20 to 30 bio units, and 4 to 6 medevacs, there's going to be Colossi on the field, and Colossi are really going to supplement the army.
Oz just massing Stalkers, blinking away the Stalkers that, of course, are getting low on that energy, keeping a lot of them alive, taking down Marines and Marauders left and right, SCVs as well. And Fenix having so much trouble trying to get this bunker finished up to help a little bit here with his natural expansion. We can see his third orbital on the ground, so still investing into the future of this game. But still, Oz being so annoying with these Stalkers, and this is just a little bit of his army. Back home, we got a Colossus waiting, we got a Zealot, we got a few Zealots waiting to be told to go across the map. But, you know, Oz being very aware that drop play can still happen. So keeping some units back to deal with something like that.
Very, very heads-up play there, and the Stalkers just continue to be so annoying. Fenix now starting to up his medevac count, but he still has very few bio units on the field. His third orbital is done, and he's starting to try to get some counterattack going of his own with the medevac heading across the map. With the bunker with 2 Marauders in the front like that, Oz can't really harass the front of the base anymore. He could still blink in the main, but it's always risky to blink into the main, because if a Terran jumps on your army before the blink cooldown up, once there's Stim and Marauders, those Stalkers can go down quick.
Here we go.
Oh, he's doing it.
There's the jump into the main, targeting down one supply depot. Gonna start taking down this factory as well, and Fenix gonna be scrambling to try to get up into the main base with his Marine Barrage to deal with this. But Oz gonna just blink out of there. Losing one Stalker.
That's right. The counterattack from Fenix is flying right over the third base. I don't think he even knew that was there, so he waypointed the medevac over. He surely would have dropped and taken out that Mothership Core if he knew about it, but he was busy defending, but he's going to go straight to the natural. There are enough units to defend. Oz with such great macro behind his Blink Stalker aggression.
Yeah, losing a couple Stalkers there, though, to the BIOS of Fenix, trying to slowly make his way back into this game, but has enough units back there to deal with that potential drop. And now Fenix is tasked with the decision to try to make something happen. It's a situation where he's definitely going to be behind, taking out a Widowmine there from Oz. But maybe a lot of drop play. I'm trying to think about the way to get back into this, because, you know, Fenix is definitely behind. 134 to 89 supply. Income is 61 to 40 in favor of Oz, so Fenix has to figure out a way to make something happen.
That's right. I mean, what Fenix wants now is to get it into a late-game max versus max situation, because right now he can't touch Oz's army. If Oz can cross the map and pin Fenix into a battle, there's no way Fenix can win in the next couple minutes. But Fenix has better upgrades. He's 1-1 working on 2-2. Oz is just now adding the forges in. So if Fenix can somehow keep Oz busy... Oh, but no, now his units are stuck here. Charge lots are going to run down a lot of this force, and his Stalkers can pick off the medevacs.
Yeah, the Stalkers blinking quickly forward, taking down one of the medevacs. 2 Vikings making their way over, saying, we're going to help you out. We can take down the Colossus, but looks like the Vikings are going to be taken out there, it looked like, by Oz. We see a scan from Fenix trying to identify, okay, exactly what he has to deal with. That's 3 Colossus there, though. And I don't know what he has to deal with. Yep, there's the GG. Oz taking game 1 pretty comfortably. You know, started with that blink opening and just taking Fenix off guard, I guess, a little bit with that. Blinking into the main, and then just taking down units left and right, and that blink to kill the medevacs as well is pretty huge.
Yeah, if you pick off medevac after medevac after medevac, it counterbalances the fact that you're delaying your Colossi tech, your Templar tech, and your upgrades for the blink Stalkers, but you're effectively delaying their medevac count by killing them all. So a great trade there for Oz, getting so much damage done with those blink Stalkers.
I mean, you know, Protoss players at home might be thinking, okay, I'm gonna go blink Stalkers and be like Oz. It is a little bit dangerous. I mean, you mentioned it. If your opponent is able to get a good amount of medevacs on the field, 2 to 4, and goes for that standard, you know, 11-minute stim timing, you know, with those 4 medevacs overhead, and of course you're investing a lot in Stalkers. You're investing in the blink. You're investing into, you know, the gas into those Stalkers. So you're not necessarily going to have upgrades. You're not necessarily going to have those Zealots you need to tank, because Stalkers are terrible in straight-up engagement. But Oz, again, doing a great job doing the right things once you get the blink Stalkers, taking out medevacs, keeping your opponent at home, and being really annoying between the main and the natural expansion. So really well played there. Oz taking game number 1 in this best of 3. Fenix must win 2 in a row here, or he'll be dropping to the losers match. Guys, stay tuned. You're watching WCS America.